There's a lot of online courses, and I don't think they're all created equally. And so I wanted it to be something that on the professional stage would have more weight. And the University of East London is a well-known university. My experience doing the master's program was great. I started. It took me a bit longer to complete than I had expected. Personal reasons, also COVID. So I had started my dissertation right in the summer of 2020. So right when COVID was at its worst, and due to a family emergency, I had to take a step back and take a year off. But my experience on a whole between, first of all, like as far as the classes go, the lecturers were all amazing, all very knowledgeable, all very quick to respond to questions. They were very helpful. I really felt like everybody was an expert in their field and really wanted to share that expertise with us so that we could all grow together. Yeah. And then as far as the university itself, and then ISEP, same thing, like very responsive to all emails. As I said, I did have a personal emergency and I needed to take a step back for a time. And I was I had registered, like I was in the dissertation module when this happened. And ISEP took care of everything for me, which was so appreciated, and really worked well. With that being said, the way it's set up in modules is also really useful. If you take a module and then you feel like I need the next 4 months off, I have a big project at work, or it's summer and I want to go on vacation with my family, you can pause and then register for the next, I guess, semester. And so that was really useful for me as well. I would describe the program to somebody as a strong program. It was, as I say, like I really found that, the lecture materials were all fantastic. I learned a lot. I already worked in the field of special education before I started. And I really felt like it just added to my practice. With it being said as well, you're working with people or you're studying alongside people that are from all over the world. And it was really interesting to learn best practice around the world. And be able to kind of like look at that, study it, research it, and then try to apply some of it at home if you thought it would be beneficial in your own, in my own school. So I really like that aspect of it. Same with the lectures. A lot of them were based in the UK. I did actually have one lecturer during one of my courses that was actually in Vancouver as well. She worked at another independent school in my city. So that was interesting. That was my little, she felt closer to home because everybody was always so far away. And yeah, so I really felt the mix of participants to be beneficial. As I said, I work in the field in my city in Canada, and I feel like I have a really good grasp of our best practice. And so it was really interesting to see what other people are doing around the world, especially when it comes to like inclusive education and dyslexia and just what we're doing around the world for these students, right? Everybody's aim is we all go into these programs hoping to become better at what we do, and I think that being able to learn off each other was really useful. I would recommend the program to all of you. I've recommended it to colleagues. In my own work, I found it really, really beneficial. As I said, I did lots of research, and so I felt like I learned a lot during the program. I found it not easy to complete. I won't say that. It is still a master's program, and it was challenging. That dissertation is long, but definitely like the way it was modularized, the way it's structured, it's really set up for you to be able to succeed. And as I say, everybody that's working for the university or for ISEP is more than helpful in that as well. And that's how I truly felt like this. Everybody wanted me to succeed, and everybody wanted my fellow students to succeed as well. For myself, as I say, I was working in special education before I started, and I took the master's program for a couple of reasons. I was looking primarily in Canada. You move on to a different pay scale when you have a master's program, so that was a big thing for me. On a personal level, I always wanted to do a master's program, and it just felt like the time was right. Professionally, in Canada as well, I'm not sure how it is in other places of the world, but in order to move into any sort of senior administration team within schools, you do need to have a master's completed. And so that's what I ended up being able to take advantage of for this year, is I was able to take a senior position creating curriculum and running one of our executive function programs within my school. And so if I hadn't have done the master's, I wouldn't have been able to take that opportunity when it came up. So I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm finding what I learned to be really pivotal in the choices I'm making every day. I would give anybody the advice taking the course to consider. The biggest consideration is online learning. You have to have discipline to keep going. You know, nobody's breathing down your neck to make sure you're doing it. So for anybody who's taking an online course, you know, I mean, a lot of us did it during COVID. That was one advantage of being in an online program during COVID, is there was no change for me, and that was useful. Like, I didn't have to pivot from doing in person and then trying to do online. You know, it was status quo, and so that was great. But I would say that's my only big thing is to consider for people if you're going to do a course that is 100% online. With that being said, too, if you do decide to complete it and it comes graduation, if you're able to go for the graduation, I would recommend it. I went, as I say, in January, and I wasn't planning on going, and I went, and I was really glad I did, because it felt a lot more real then, because, and I got to meet people that I had been, you know, talking with for, you know, 2 and 3 years, and that was really fantastic. So I would recommend the program immensely to anybody. I think you'll be really happy with, as I say, the quality of the education and just the support that you're going to receive.